Joe with Resin Makers, doing my thing to do today. I'm taking this old picture frame that I picked up. Gosh, I don't even remember when I picked it up, but it's been painted on and so forth. It's rather old, kind of looking. And what I want to do is I want to turn this into a whiteboard. So some of what I'm going to be using is this dry erase from Rust-Oleum. It does come in two parts that you'll mix. I know that I'm not going to need all of it, so I'll measure it out. Let's see here. The prep, you of course lightly sand the surface. I'm going to be using it on glass. It doesn't say that you can use it on glass. It shows different surfaces that you can use it on. Glass is not one of them. So we're going to see if it'll actually work. So like I said, normally the prep would be to lightly sand the surface. I'm not really going to be doing that. I might take some sandpaper and rough it up just a little bit. We'll see. I'm definitely going to be cleaning it. And then we're going to stir each can before mixing them. So there is a part A and a part B. I'll put those into separate containers and mix the two separately and then mix them together. Yeah, it says that it only needs a 1-coat coverage and it'll dry to the touch in 3 to 4 hours. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take the glass out of this frame. I haven't decided what color I'm going to paint the frame yet. Honestly, I was kind of thinking I might use my chalkboard paint. I've got black chalkboard paint, and that might actually work pretty well to do chalkboard paint around the outside so that I can use, my chalks and write on that whatever I need and have the whiteboard on the inside. Let's get started. Got everything up here. I put this wrapping paper up on the table so that I did it so that I could actually see the glass a little better, or that I could show the glass a little better. I'm not actually sure that worked, but I've got my gloves here because I'm going to make sure I don't get anything on me. Got the 2 cups that I got. I got these from Dollar Tree, and pour my stuff in. This is the part A. It's the activator. Really small, isn't it? And here is giant part B. And it's the writable finish. I'm going to use a small sponge. It's the only size that I have. I don't have a larger one. So hopefully this will go around. And screwdriver to go ahead and open these. Then I've got just some plastic knives to use to stir each one up separately and then to mix and stir together. Now let me see here. Alright, so let's go ahead and check to see what we're going to do as far as mixing. Now I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, I can use painter's tape around any area that I don't want painted. I don't have a problem with painting the entire glass. I'm fine with that. And we're going to go ahead and stir both part A, pour part A into part B, and stir thoroughly until the paint is a uniform color. So it wants you to stir it for about 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for that because I want to make sure I do it completely and just do it right. So there's no waiting time required after the mixing. Pour paint into a paint tray. Use a dense foam brush roller that's designed to give a smooth finish. I probably should really get a foam brush roller so I can have that good finish. You know what, I might stop over by Lowe's today and pick that up before I finish this. We'll see. To ensure a smooth finish, be sure to prep the foam roller by removing any loose fibers. Got it. Okay, it tells you how you can get the loose fibers off of the roller. And this will result in a high gloss. Important, apply activated dry erase paint within 60 minutes of mixing. That's fantastic. So I've got an entire hour after mixing this to actually get this completed. I like that. I like that time because I don't like to rush. I may not get the roller after all, especially since I'm using these. Alright, let's go ahead and get these mixed up. I'm going to speed up the video at this point. So I'm showing how much is actually inside of each can. They're both about halfway full. I didn't measure. Instead, because of what I seen inside, I just kind of guesstimated how much to pour in each one of the 2 bowls. And I didn't mix them before I poured them into the bowls. I did shake the cans before opening them. And then I poured part A into part B. And as you see, I'm stirring it up. You can see that it's got a slight yellowish color when you mix the two at the beginning. I set a timer for 2 minutes and started making sure that I scrape the sides as I was doing so. I hate gloves. And is a lie. But anyway, so let's say at the beginning I didn't actually need to use any painter's tape on my glass. I was going to go ahead and grab that painter's tape. I wanted to mark off any part that I didn't want painted. I grabbed because I knew that I would be wonderful, and I didn't want the wrapping paper to mess up any of the painting on the edges of this glass. So instead I went ahead and marked off the edging of the glass on all 4 sides so that I could easily lift it. Well, hindsight 2020, I probably should have either had a thinner, taped it a little bit thinner on the sides, or just not at all, because in the end I didn't like how it actually turned out. Because my brush is so small, getting all of this on and having it on a nice even stroke was nearly impossible to do. So I did go over this several times so that I didn't have any streaks. And as you can see those streaks as I'm laying it down right now, I went over it over and over and over again. It's like putting frosting on a cake. You want it as smooth as you possibly can get it. And as I was doing so, I could put any extra back inside the bowl. I did end up having still quite a bit left over, and decided to use the leftover on some other things. I went ahead and I grabbed one of my empty canvases that you'll see here in a second that I used it on. And again, this isn't something that was listed on the back of the box that says that it can be used on. Glass wasn't listed, and neither was canvas. But as you'll see in the end, it turned out pretty good on both of these, on both the glass and the canvas. So I'm just finishing up this glass part. It didn't matter that I went over the tape, because of course, that'll come up later. I loved how the wrapping paper did make it easy for me to move my glass. And after I got it all moved out of my way, I grabbed my canvas, and I decided to do like a black and white cookie type of theme with it. So the top of it, I used my chalkboard paint, my black chalkboard paint, did half of that in the chalkboard paint. And yes, I am wearing white pants while I'm painting black chalkboard paint. Didn't even think about that until I started editing the video. But guess what? I got none of it on those white pants. None. I'm so surprised. I'm so proud too. So back to this. Half of it I did in the black chalkboard paint. The other half I used the dry erase board paint. And still had some left over in the bowl. I just used one of a paint canvas that I already had something on, and I painted on top of that. You'll see that one in just a few minutes too. With this, I did get a little streak of gray because when I poured my paint on, I probably should, well, no, not probably. I should have done the white first, black second, but because I did it the other way around, when I put my brush to the very edge where the black and white meet, I got a little bit on my little black on the brush. You can't see it here, but there is a little bit of gray mixed in all of that, which is fine. You know, this is for me, and it was an experiment. And again, still had leftovers, so grabbed another canvas. This time I used a canvas that had something on it. Just curious to see if it would cover it. It did. And yes, I am using this currently for just as a schedule for me to write down my work schedule on. You can get these canvases like the one I'm using here at Dollar Tree. They work fantastic. And here's how these two ended up turning out. Everything dry overnight while I went next. Okay, so I've finished the glass and I'm letting it dry. Plus, you see the extra that I did. And now I want to go ahead and get this frame done. Looks like I'm not going to be able to get the entire frame in my camera's view. That's all right. Well, I'll definitely show you from here to here. And what's up top, well, you just won't get to see, but that's okay. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to paint this frame using my chalkboard paint, just so that I have, you know, something else I can do. I think what I want to actually do, because of how I'm using this, I might use the sides here to write down what my goal that I'm going for is. So I know you know what painting is. I'm going to go ahead and speed this video up now. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. Now I know the whiteboard instructions said that it'll take about 3 to 4 hours for that to dry. Actually, I'm going to let both of them dry overnight. I've got some things I've got to do, so just leaving them alone, letting them all dry overnight will be perfect. I'll see you back here tomorrow. I let it dry overnight, well, not quite 24 hours, but I did let it dry overnight. Love how smooth this feels. This feels so good. Let's go ahead and put everything together and take off the painter's tape that I used. I pretty much, the reason I put the painter's tape on, it wasn't because I wanted to make a definition or anything like that. I did it so that it would be easier for me to lift this up and move it without actually doing anything with the paint. And I figured that part isn't really going to show in the frame anyway. Got it. Oh, this is nice. I love how this turned out. Let's get the frame in here. And I painted the frame using my black chalk paint. That looks good too. Didn't do the back of it, as you can tell. I don't really care how the back looks because no one's going to see it anyway. Let's get this all put back together again. I do have a bit of a gap right here from not taking it all the way to the edge like I probably should have. I can always put something underneath my glass so you don't see that. Let me go ahead and do that. Right, I've got some handmade paper that I put in. I'm just cutting it to fit right now. I'm cutting off this excess. I don't know where I put my X-Acto knife. There we go. Got the excess cut off. Now let's get this hanger put back in. Again, I'm still not really sure that I'm going to be using this, but until I've made up my mind completely, it's better to just put it back on. And I'm staring right at my X-Acto knife right now. Don't you just hate when you're doing something, can't find something, and then as soon as you're done doing it a different way, what you were looking for is right in your face? Yeah. X-Acto knife is laughing at me right now. Okay, let's turn this around. Oh, that's good. You can see little flecks of gold in there. Looks nice. I do like how this turned out. And let's see. Moving the camera around. This is remember this top and, the frame itself is painted with my chalkboard paint. Oh, love that. Okay. And I've got, let's go ahead and see how this looks. Nice, nice. True test. That comes off perfectly. And voila. Oh, I love it. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. perfect. Let me check out the canvas that I had, the extra that I didn't want to waste. Let's grab that and see how that works. Here we go with the canvas. Looks like a black and white cookie, doesn't it? Of course, up here is the chalkboard paint, and down here is the whiteboard paint. Chalkboard. Okay, I like that. Something small I can use. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this for, but it's going to be fun to mess around with anyway. Grab whatever tool I have and just go for it. Nice, nice, nice. And I know you've seen that I use this tiny little guy too. That's just because I literally had little bit left over, and it was just boom. And look how easy this just rubs off. Well, you know what? This experiment with using the whiteboard paint on things that literally were not mentioned on the back of it turned out to be pretty good. We know it works on canvas. It looks great on canvas along with chalkboard paint. This has some gray in it because, you know, as you seen when I was painting, I carried over some of the black into the white, but I'm okay with that. I literally am okay with that. And the whole reason for this in the first place was this frame, and what I wanted to use it for came out fantastically. It does adhere to glass. So if you wondered, yes, it does. It doesn't say that on the back of the box, but it does adhere to the glass. It's really smooth. Feels fantastic. I knew the chalkboard paint would be okay, but this works fantastically. I love it. I love it a lot. Well, today I tried out some whiteboard paint on glass for a picture frame. Hope you enjoyed. And need a better pen. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.